Rosa DeLauro is the U.S. representative of Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District and a powerful champion for women's causes. First elected in 1990, Ms. DeLauro has devoted much of her life to advocating for those most in need. An avid supporter of affordable health care and tax relief for working and middle-class families, Rosa DeLauro has led the fight in Congress to achieve full pay equity for women. Driven by a sense of justice, Rosa is a tenacious agent for change and a force to be reckoned with in the U.S. Congress. Rosa was born in 1943, the only child of Italian immigrant parents who were very involved in neighborhood politics.
I grew up in a wonderful community in New Haven, Connecticut, the heart and soul of the Italian-American community, Worcester Square. It's where, I learned the values at our kitchen table about faith, responsibility, hard work, and really community service. My dad came to the United States as an immigrant from Italy in 1913. My mom worked in the old sweatshops in New Haven, and both my parents put the highest premium on education.
After earning her high school diploma at the Academy of Our Lady of Mercy Laurelton Hall in Milford, Rosa earned her bachelor's degree from Marymount College in Tarrytown, New York. DeLauro went on to study at the London School of Economics and earned a master's degree from Columbia University before returning to New Haven for her first job.
I was a community organizer. We trained men and women along the eastern seaboard to help to empower them, to help them with jobs or the social services that they needed.
In 1975, Rosa met Stanley Greenberg, who was teaching at Yale University. They were married 3 years later.
And from there, then, I went to be the chief of staff for the mayor of the city of New Haven, Frank Logue, which was an extraordinary experience in understanding local government and what that was all about. And then I had the opportunity of a lifetime, and that was starting with being a campaign manager for Senator Chris Dodd's first Senate race.
It was sort of unprecedented to hire a woman in those days. To manage a campaign, a statewide campaign. She had never been involved in statewide politics, been involved only in New Haven. But I saw someone who had the energy and the vitality and the interest to want to be involved, who cared deeply about the things I had cared about. At the end of the campaign, I asked her to come to Washington to be the chief of staff.
He took a chance on me and asked me to be his chief of staff, never having worked in Washington, D.C. before. And from him, I learned that the Congress, the House or the Senate, had a tremendous impact on people's lives.
She turned out to be a fantastic chief of staff, not only put together a great office for me and helped me manage some difficult issues in those first few years, but became a beloved and respected figure on Capitol Hill very, very quickly as well.
Ms. DeLauro worked in Dodd's Senate office for 7 years, and then as the first executive director of Emily's List, an organization dedicated to increasing the number of women in elected office. And then, in 1985, Rosa was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
The experience having been diagnosed with cancer for anyone is really very profound because for the first time, at least for me, in the first time in my life, I was face to face with my own mortality. 27 years later, I'm cancer-free. That second chance, if you will, makes you all the more want to give back in some way.
The opportunity to give back came in 1990 when a seat opened up in Connecticut's 3rd Congressional District. Rosa won that seat and re-election 11 times.
From the moment she came to Congress 20 years ago, Rosa has been a courageous, unwavering, and irrepressible voice for the voiceless. A person of vision and a strategic thinker, Rosa spends every day fighting to protect workers' rights, raise living standards, and invest in education and innovation that will define our future.
Where I have spent a lot of my time has been on women's health issues, and whether that is passing legislation for breast and cervical cancer treatment for women, or for that matter, work as hard as I did to pass the Affordable Care Act.
She has been a leader and a consensus builder with regard to many important initiatives. The whole issue of healthcare reform, pay equity, Family and Medical Leave Act, whether biomedical research is going to study men and women, all of these things and more have really been an enormous contribution to all of us and has really made a difference in our lives.
You want a fighter in your corner? It's going to be a tough battle. Who do you want there to slug it out for you? Who do you call? And you call Rosa. There's no more aggressive, tougher, committed ally you could have in the world than Rosa DeLauro.
Rosa DeLauro currently serves in the Democratic leadership as co-chair of the Steering and Policy Committee. She is the ranking member on the Labor, Health, Human Services, and Education Appropriations Subcommittee. Ms. DeLauro also serves on the subcommittee responsible for the FDA and agriculture, where she oversees drug and food safety. She has also successfully advocated for veterans, working and middle-class tax cuts, health care, and educational programs. Rosa DeLauro has been recognized with countless awards. Most recently, she received the Connecticut Multicultural Health Partnership Public Service Award, the George McGovern Leadership Award, Uniting to End Hunger, as well as honors from the Ovarian Cancer National Alliance.
There is no lack of clarity that Rosa not only thinks that government is by the people, but it is for the people. And it's a part of her fabric, her being. Rosa's really committed in a very genuine way to helping people. And I think sees government as the conduit for helping people.
If you're going to measure her life and public life by a menu of specific appropriations back to the community or specific little bills, I think you miss Rosa. Rosa sets an example of bringing passion and commitment to public service. All of that, those specific items, all a reflection of that commitment, that passion, that deep caring about what happens to people in need.